This is considered one of the hardest Minecraft mod packs ever made. Everything is more dangerous, resources are harder to get, and surviving even a few days is a challenge. So I decided to survive 15 days of it. And somehow I managed to get here. But to delay no longer, welcome to TerraFirmaCraft. Day 1 was the most crucial part of this playthrough. I needed to get 3 things before nightfall: light, food, and shelter. See, this mod pack really plays into being realistic. For example, no light means no sight. Unfortunately for me, I was too busy trying to play with a rhinoceros. Regardless, day 1 went well. I was able to create a knife blade and axe head by knapping small rocks. Knives can harvest straw from grass, which is one of the most important resources later on, and the axe head speaks for itself. While running from the rhino, like the brave soul I am, I stumbled across some onions. That checked off my food for day 1, until I dropped them for some tomatoes that I found later. You're probably wondering why I preferred the tomatoes over the onions, and that was because I needed water. Hydration was another addition to the list of things trying to kill me, and influenced where I decided to base. Speaking of which, here she is. I was barely able to get my campfire set up before nightfall, but when I did, I had light. I was still in need of shelter, but it was looking less and less likely that I could get it on the first day. The night of day 1 was spent learning all there is to know about pottery and eventually discovering that it wasn't just cosmetic. I needed it to get wood. So I guess this little book thing says that I need to get a bunch of molded clay and put it in a pit kiln where I can fire the ingot molds and from there melt copper into them to get a saw. Keep in mind, all of this was to get planks. Day 2 started out by searching for clay. Clay should spawn under these plants right here. Or maybe not, okay. Oh, no it does, here it is. I went ahead and made some molds and a pot with the clay, but I needed a way to heat it up. So I placed my molds in the kiln, get some straw placed, add some wood, and in a second, any second now, we have fire. The pit needed to burn for 8 hours, so in the meantime I was hunting for copper. I needed to find either native copper, malachite, or some tetrawattite. This hunt lasted all the way into day 3. I ventured to the top of a mountain to use as a vantage point to scout out some copper, but instead I saw some clouds forming over my base. I spent all the rest of the day searching for copper, stopping of course to get my fired molds, until I began getting chased by some large cat. Though while running, I spotted a little structure. I need to get chased more often, first the rhino, now this. Structures are super hard to come by, so I was very fortunate to stumble upon one. It was made up of nothing but straw, mud, but importantly, a crafting table. On my way home, I came across an alpaca, and after killing it, it dropped a large hide needed to make a thatch bed. Unfortunately, I couldn't sleep in it, but I would be needing that respawn point for day 4. I spent the morning building up a little bit of a thatch base, emphasis on the little part. You know, it's not much, but it's got personality. I decided that I had enough of being a homebody, so I traveled back to the new biome I came across yesterday. Day 3 was such a huge success that I felt unstoppable. I was feeling so confident, in fact, that I chose to have beef with a miniature dragon. I had the bright idea to grab some sand to bridge up with so it couldn't reach me. Bad idea. I guess I can't do that, my fault for trying. It'll be fine, I can kill it though. I was in the equivalent of a 2v1 no rules versus prime Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali with brass knuckles in the form of a 1-meter lizard. It's safe to say I got beat to a pulp. I had to walk across these 7 realms to get back to where I died, not to mention in the middle of the night. I had to find someplace safe, and I was luckily able to find another villager house. He had a pet cat. Hi villager dude, what's up man, how's it going? Don't mind if I take a little snooze, do ya? Oh no, that's good. Just my luck. I tried to lure the cat away and into a ravine, but I guess its wingspan is the same as a bald eagle's, leading to another death. Luckily, the cat was far enough away and I was able to recollect myself and take the villager's house with me. I stayed in the desert until the morning of day 5. Today was the day that I wanted to head back home. Now that I had experienced death 3 times, I had decided I wanted a cozy thatch house. So that's what I built. The rest of the day was spent at base learning about ores. I departed in the early morning of day 6 in search of copper with nothing but an axe. I expected this to be a one-way trip, and that did not disappoint. Of course, while running along the Badlands, another big cat jumped me. I needed to find copper anywhere just to give me hope. Copper would be a big help in surviving these next 9 days, especially once I got planks. Little did I know, I wouldn't be getting those for a while. Day 7 was spent doing much the same. This time I went a different direction, northeast, to look for igneous rocks. According to the books, biomes with basalt have a higher chance to have copper. Conveniently, I was caught by a grizzly bear while I had no sprint. On my map, I had seen what looked like a better base location, so I spent the better half of the day collecting all of my resources and making my way to the mountain lake. I had scaled up the mountain to get a better look at the lake. Whoa, that's actually really cool. I think I'm gonna head down there on day 8. Now I don't see any copper, but I do see what looks like deep slate. This place was a bust, but on the bright side, or dark side I guess, I found a really cool half underwater cave. The mobs didn't find it very cool that I was in there though. Oh shoot, I can't see. Help! No help! I hear a trident. I think I hear a trident. Good thing I haven't died though, right? The morning of day 9 was spent hiking all the way back to where I died, which luckily wasn't too far. After continuing on, I was able to find a river, and using common sense, every river goes to the ocean, right? So why don't I just follow this to the beach? How genius that idea was. I was waltzing down the shore all giddy until I opened my map and saw a saber-toothed tiger on it. Of course, when I find what should be a nice, safe place, it isn't safe. Why wouldn't there be a saber-tooth? Luckily, I ended up avoiding all problems with any saber-tooths. Saber-teeth? Anyways, I waited in safety until the morning to progress carefully. And on the morning of day 9, wait a minute, what? I guess somewhere along the line, probably sometime after I logged off, the day counter got messed up. Anyways, I had found a cool beach house with a villager inside of it. Also in it was a place to store stuff. Wait, hold on. We are basing here 100%. I found another house later in the day that I couldn't resist taking for myself. When I made it back to base number 2, I made a choice. You know what? This house is honestly kind of small. I'm gonna build one for myself. Building time lapse? By the time I had finished the builds, it was already the early morning of day 10. Day 10 was all innovation. I had discovered a new way to obtain copper. Why look for it when you can pan for it? The pan became my best friend over the next few days and was the sole reason that I got much of anything done. Then again, this marked the onslaught of pit killing. No mistakes, or a third of the day would be gone. Now, this whole time, I had been wanting a horse. Lucky for me, a donkey was right by where I was living. I needed one to act as portable storage and to make travel safer. I was unable to tame the donkey that day though, and instead spent my time panning for copper. Of course, after I went back and killed the donkey, for food, I needed the food, I'm not a monster. That night, I found out the hard way that lighting a campfire inside of your neighbor's house might start a little fire. Let me put you out. How do I put you out? Come on. Oh, okay, like that. Stop spreading fire and stop looking at me, villager. Your house is fine. It's only like half burned down. I began to use my pin in the early morning of day 11. Day 11 was the day that I'd like to call a copper rush. I had finally obtained the item that I'd been dreading for the past few days, but I was soon to run into a much, much larger problem. I was going to end up needing a lot more copper, but I, for whatever reason, barely got any from this cave that I had gone to. Though, to begin the process of smelting, I would need a vessel. This is where the pit kiln purgatory really kicked in. I was running around for 8 minutes doing who knows what until I had an idea. What if I could kill a dire wolf? I'm gonna try to block this guy so he can't get out. Oh, wait, hold on. Damage. What if I suffocate him? Suffocate him I did, and it worked really well. I guess I was really proud of myself, to the point that I jumped into the dark to find another wolf, this time with stun tools. Wait, there's 2. I can clear that guy, right? That guy doesn't even fight back. They might be passive or neutral. Maybe I can tame it? It turns out they weren't passive. Big surprise. I knew I'd be getting my revenge on that wolf though. I knew I had to. While I was busy collecting my loot, my kiln had finished burning, but I forgot to check it. Of course, when I went to look, the melted copper inside the vessel was, well, no longer melted. So back in the smelter it goes. On the morning of day 13, okay, I guess I'll go with that, don't know where 12 went. That morning, I tried expanding the kiln and ended up breaking it seconds before the copper finished melting. Well, nothing I can do but wait. And when the kiln finally finished, I poured my molten copper into its mold. Like everything else, this went wrong. I only smelted 40 millibuckets of copper in the vessel, but I needed 100 for a single ingot. Well, back to the grind I go. I proceeded to spend all of night 13 inside of a cave panning for copper, totally not because I got lost and fell into a random hole. The morning of day 14 was awfully foggy, which was usually a sign of precipitation, and oh did that come. I finally decided that it was time for my revenge on the diary, though she had the opposite in mind. After that small little hiccup, I killed the wolf. While I was doing that, my kiln was burning. It's almost over. I almost have the saw blade. Oh wait, hold on. It's done. The mold in there, and there we go, and that's 1. And that's 2. Wait a second, I have to resmelt this. I had put the copper into the wrong mold. It was supposed to go into the saw blade mold. Makes sense, right? Not to me. Finally, after another excruciating 8 minutes, and on the morning of day 15... Wait, I'm gonna have it this time for real. Go, finally! On the morning of day 15, I felt unstoppable. All that I had done had led up to getting these chestnut planks. I'll be real, it seems like a letdown to get something that normal players get within the first 10 seconds of the world. But man, it felt so good. Take a look at this sweet base. We got chestnut chests that can barely fit anything in it for some reason, but who cares? Now all I need is a roof, but first I want to get some better tools. While I was panning in the river, a tornado, yes, a tornado, formed directly over my base. Then, while trying to head back to base to check on my villager friend, I got a little too close to the tornado. Uh-oh, hold on, wait, it's sucking me in. I literally can't stop going towards it. Shoot, aim for the water. I think I missed the water. After 15 days on TerraFirmaCraft, I finally had copper tools, actual storage, and real planks. Which is kind of funny, because in normal Minecraft you get those in about 10 seconds. But here, it took surviving rhinos, getting hunted by wolves, dying to a lizard, and getting launched into the sky by a tornado. All of that, just for planks. Honestly though, it was kind of worth it.